Hello, everyone. Welcome to my MPA 580 Week 5 discussion board. In this discussion board, I will go over the importance of ethics. I will talk about the foundations of the ethical theories, provide an overview of the importance of the code of conduct, and also provide a real-life example of an ethical situation in the workplace. So looking at the importance of ethics, ethics are a vital part of an organization because they can help build trust, they can ensure legal compliance, they can boost employee morale, customer satisfaction, and they can also demonstrate some social responsibility. And they can also help organizations sustain themselves over time by making sound decisions aligned with their values and the expectations of the public. As we discussed in the past weeks, the code of conduct and the importance of the code of conduct. And the code of conduct is important for our agency as it's not so much a guide to how to conduct yourself, as these are basically general common sense things, but it can be used as a tool to educate the public on our basic standards. A transparent and well-publicized code of conduct can help the public's confidence in our organization and demonstrate our commitment to ethical business practices and responsible corporate citizenship. However, there are good, the code of conduct is good at clarifying stances that some may interpret differently. And an example of this can be determining the appropriateness of when facing a potential conflict of interest or when to ensure confidential information is protected. It can help establish ethical standards that our employees are expected to uphold, and it can foster a culture of integrity and accountability within our organization and promote some trust among the employees and customers. And the code also incorporates legal requirements to assist the organization in minimizing the risk of legal issues and ensuring compliance with relevant laws and regulations. So looking at some ethical theories to provide you some foundation, the first one is virtue and intuition, and this is an ethical approach that emphasizes good character traits and relying on instinctive moral judgment when making decisions. It prioritizes virtues such as honesty and fairness over strict rules, and it believes moral truths are self-evident and understood intuitively. This approach really encourages cultivating virtuous traits and trusting instincts when you're making decisions. The principle-based approach stresses following principles and rules regardless of the outcome. It suggests that there are universal moral principles that apply to everybody, and those cannot be compromised whatsoever. And it focuses on fulfilling moral duties, which are considered obligatory regardless of the consequences. And even though the intentions are deemed behind the actions are deemed essential, an action may be morally right if it has a negative consequence if it was done with good intentions. Consequence-based, also considered utilitarianism, judges actions based on the outcomes. It aims for the greatest happiness for the greatest number of people, and it is in its practical approach. It emphasizes real-world impacts and considers both short-term and long-term consequences, again, focusing on the well-being of everyone involved. And then when you combine these principles, it can really lead to a comprehensive approach to your decision-making that takes various aspects of morality. And we'll look at an example here in just a second. So looking at this example, so the situation, hypothetical situation is that you are a health inspector that is tasked with inspecting the mayor's favorite restaurant in town. And during the inspection, you discover multiple health code violations, including improper food storage, inadequate sanitation practices, and pest infestation in the kitchen. And if it's left undressed, the violations could pose serious risk to public health and safety. So what do you do? How do you evaluate this? So looking at it from a virtuous perspective, you would want to consider the virtue traits of being a good health inspector and serving the public interest. You would want to show integrity by ensuring that your actions align with your duty to protect the public health and safety. You show compassion by considering the potential consequences to the restaurant owners and the employees and customers. and wisdom by carefully assessing the severity of the health code violations and determining the most appropriate course of action. If you're looking at it from a principle-based approach, you would analyze the situation using fundamental ethical principles to guide your decision-making. You would ensure that your actions are consistent and fair in the application, and that you're treating this restaurant just like you would any other restaurant in town. And you would tailor your response to the violations, ensuring that the enforcement actions are proportional to the level of risk posed, and you may prioritize addressing violations that pose the greatest risk to public health, such as the food safety and sanitation issues. From a consequence-based approach, you would evaluate the potential outcomes of your actions and choose the course of action that produces the greatest overall good or maximizes the positive consequence while minimizing negative ones. And if the violations pose significant risks to public health and safety, you may prioritize strict enforcement to prevent harm. However, if the violations are less severe and the restaurant shows a genuine commitment to improvement, you may opt for a more lenient approach, providing guidance and support to facilitate the compliance. If you take a combination approach, you would consider the character traits and virtues of your actions. You would follow the fundamental ethical principles that underpin your decision and the potential consequences of your actions. And taking this holistic approach would allow you to make an ethically sound decision that prioritizes public health and safety while also considering the broader impacts on the restaurant owner and everyone else involved. And that concludes my presentation for this week. I look forward to watching your own. Thank you.